Welcome back. All right, so given tonight's results, it is possible that the only team that I cheer for that makes the playoffs is Boston. I'm okay with that. It's funny because you would think, oh, well, he'll be really disappointed if his teams don't make it. On some level, yes, but for doing YouTube videos, honestly, when there's games that I don't have that emotional investment in, it's easier for me to, after the game is done, just set up and go, all right, video time. Because like most of these games, I'm just kind of enjoying some good hockey, and whatever happens, happens. Whereas if it's Boston, Dallas, Vancouver, there is that emotional response, and in the playoffs, that can be so much worse, especially when your team blows a 3-0 series lead, or a 3-1 series lead, or a 3-2 series lead in the Stanley Cup final and lose Game 7 at home. It can sting a little bit. So, yeah. So when people wonder how would he feel if his teams were in the playoffs, I'm actually okay with it for the channel. I mean, before I had a channel, it sucks, but at this point, it's either way is fine. We'll start off with Philadelphia and the Rangers, and what the Flyers do tonight is they basically probably put that last nail in the proverbial coffin for the Rangers, and we've heard this before, but the math starts to get a little bit tough for the Rangers at this stage. So it was Elliott versus Shesterkin. And, you would look at that matchup and say, well, Shesterkin's the better goaltender, given recent numbers. Elliott is capable of having games like this. The Rangers would get a power play. Kakko ends up hitting the post just before the halfway mark of the period. Smith scores from Miller and Hedel at 9:55. So the Rangers have a 1-0 lead. The Flyers then get a power play of their own. Dangerous chances, but Shesterkin makes the saves during that penalty kill. And then there was a shorthanded chance for Adam Fox that drew a power play for the Rangers. Well, it made it 4-on-4, and then they get the power play after. So you go to the second period. Shesterkin, the wizardry continues for him. He's playing very well in this game. Provorov had some real prime chances as well that weren't going in. He would get points later. The Flyers then get a power play. That was killed off. They get another. You can't keep giving a team power play after power play, or this happens. Van Riemsdyk scores from Konechny and Provorov at 15:56. It went in off his face. And that looked really painful. And did he have gauze in his mouth in the third period? It looked like when they showed him on the bench and he had not the full cage, but he had his jaw protected. It looked like he had gauze in his mouth. Man. Anyways, yeah, so James Van Riemsdyk tonight doing his best imitation of Logan Couture, taking something off the face and staying in the game. Going, I could play without my face. I'm good. Yeah, that's the Logan Couture thing. Third period. The Rangers would press around the 5-minute mark, and then there's a 4-minute power play for the Flyers. And again, you just can't give them this. Van Riemsdyk scores another power play marker from Provorov and Hayes at 10:29. He did get it off of his stick that time. He decided, I will not use my face again. And then it's not long after that, Voracek scores from Couturier and Gostisbehere at 14:07. That made it 3-1. To the Rangers' credit, they don't give up. Panarin would score from Fox and Zibanejad at 18 minutes. They would pull the goalie. They don't get any closer. The Flyers win this one 3-2. They go to 21-18-7. The Rangers drop to 23-18-6. Your three stars, Elliott, Van Riemsdyk, and Provorov. Your shots, 14-11 Rangers in the first, 14-11 Flyers in the second, 11-10 Flyers in the third. Final shots, 36 each. Power plays, Philadelphia goes 2 for 6. The Rangers go 0 for 3. Yeah, you can't give a team 6 power plays, which is not the highest number we got tonight. The highest number we saw tonight was 9. So hits 19-12 for Philadelphia, block shots 14-10 for the Rangers. Elliott saves 33 out of 35. Shesterkin saves 33 out of 36. And yeah, I think this probably does it for the Rangers, because Boston tonight, this was an unfair matchup, and they play again tomorrow. So, and Swayman's record's really good. Like, I don't know where to go with this other than it looks like Boston's probably a threat for one of the spots higher than them in the division, although those teams are all getting points too. So again, if you're a Rangers fan, tonight was just a real rough kick for you. McAvoy would exit early, but he would come back. So there was no concern about that, not for long anyways. Shots were 6-2 for the Bruins at 5 minutes. The Bruins press, they draw a power play. And the Sabres really good pressure on the penalty kill. They did kill that off. Marchand, though, would score from Riley and Pasternak at 12:36. So Marchand stays hot. It's 1-0 Boston. Sabres get a power play. It was McAvoy that took the penalty there. There was an extended 4-on-4 to end the period. Second period, there's an early power play for the Bruins. Unsuccessful. The power plays tonight didn't get it going. The Bruins only had the 2. And then Ruotsalainen. He scores from Bjork at 5:27. So again, Anders Bjork playing against Boston. He will get points. The Sabres then go to the power play. They would get another power play after that. Their power play unsuccessful tonight. Really good penalty kill from the Bruins. The Sabres were missing shots on the power play too. They showed like Olofsson some replays there. He was just missing shots. And then Grzelcyk scores at 12:49. That makes it 2-1. The Sabres get another power play. That was their third of the period. And then the Bruins decided, well, why not? They take their 4th penalty of the second period. They spent a lot of that period shorthanded. And Buffalo unable to score a power play goal. Third period, Bruins pushed around the 2-minute mark, and they were the better team in that third period, and it shows when we get to the scoring here. Pasternak from Marchand at 4:55 makes it 3-1, and then Ritchie. Nice goal by Nick Ritchie from DeBrusk and Smith at 7:01. And then towards the end of the game, Krejci adds another. That's from Lauzon and Hall at 18 minutes and 2 seconds. Just to really drive it home that Boston was determined tonight. They win 5-1. They go to 27, 12, and 6. Buffalo drops to 12, 28, and 7. 3 stars, Pasternak, Marchand, and Bergeron. Your shots, 14-7 Boston in the first, 13-12 Buffalo in the second, and that's with 4 power plays. Shots were 12-10 Boston in the third. Final shots, 38-30 in favor of the Bruins. Power plays, Boston 0 for 2, Buffalo 0 for 5. Hits, 28-17 in favor of Buffalo. Block shots, 12-9 in favor of Boston. Swayman continues adding to his resume, 29 saves on 30 shots. Again, he looks really good. Tokarski, 33 saves on 38 shots. And tomorrow night we get to see how Luukkonen plays against Boston, who right now look like they're in the zone. And yeah, we'll see how things go. Next up, Capitals. So this was a battle for first place. It was a game, and the interesting thing about this was the Islanders really outperformed the Capitals in the first period. But Samsonov, kind of fantastic. The shots were 6-0 for the Islanders 4 minutes in. 6-0. Caps press a bit at 7.5 minutes. The Capitals would get a power play. It is not successful. Samsonov really trying to steal this. So again, not a lot of notes in the first period. There was just the 1 power play. And it's just the Islanders getting a ton of shots. And Samsonov saying no. Second period, shots were 4-1 for the Caps at 3 minutes. So the Caps came out as the better team to start the second period. Varlamov denies Sherry. Pressed by the Caps at 4 minutes. And a really great start for them in that second period. Power play then for the Caps. Ovechkin really wanted one tonight. Not happening. Varlamov making the saves there. And then there's a delay of game call. The Caps get a late power play there. But we go to the third period. And in the third, this is where the chess match really shows up. The shots were 1-0 for the Islanders at 3 minutes. And it felt like this game was already in overtime. Sherry had a chance that was stopped as Caps pushed. Raffle then nearly put one in. Ovechkin gets a chance at 6.5 minutes. The Islanders get their first power play. Then they get another shortly thereafter. Strong, aggressive penalty killing by the Capitals. And it works for them. They kill off both of those. Barzal then missed a chance high from in close. So we go to overtime, scoreless. The Islanders controlled early. Barzal tried beast mode to get one in the net, where he's just got the puck on his stick and goes, all right, I'll just do it myself. Wilson had a chance. Varlamov made the save. The puck goes the other way, but overtime solved nothing. We go to the shootout, and it's Kuznetsov in the shootout. He gets the winner, and I think that was the only goal? No, it was the second goal for Washington to 1 goal for the Islanders. So there were 3 goals in the shootout, nothing during the game. So both goaltenders pitched a shutout today. With the shootout win, the Capitals go to 30-13-4. The Islanders 29-13-5. There's just 1 point between them, and they've got 2 more games left. Your 3 stars, Samsonov, Varlamov, and Kuznetsov. It is the easiest 3 stars you can pick. You have to pick both goalies and whoever gets the shootout winner. You can put them in whatever order you want, but those are your 3 stars. Shots, 15-4 Islanders in the first, 14-7 Washington in the second, 9-3 Washington in the third, and in the overtime, both teams had one shot. So, again, it felt like we were destined for a shootout. Final shots, 28-26 for the Capitals. Power plays, of course, both teams were 0 for. The Capitals 0 for 3, the Islanders 0 for 2. Hits, 25-22 Washington. Block shots, 17-7 Islanders. Samsonov saves all 26. Varlamov saves all 28. And it felt like an Islanders game. This game went fast. I'm pretty sure this game was over before at least 3 of the other games, even though it goes into overtime and a shootout. So even though this game should have been longer, it wasn't. So there you go. The Capitals, for tonight anyways, are first in the division. Columbus. So Columbus again against Tampa. They played them tough. I'm going to be honest here. They did. They played tough tonight, and it shows that Columbus is capable of having good games. The shots were 4-0 for the Bolts 8 minutes into that first period. Tampa Bay definitely was the sharper team. However, Columbus gets a power play, and they score on it. And it's Seth Jones with the power play marker from Bjorkstrand and Laine at 9:36. So there's Laine on the board. Again, I keep waiting for him to heat up scoring-wise. We're almost out of time, Patrick Laine. Barre Boulet can't bury one. He had opportunities tonight. Every time he's near the puck, they know he wants his first goal. It doesn't happen tonight. Second period, early power play for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was killed off. Really strong penalty kill by Columbus there. Bolts then get another power play. It was killed off as well. The Tampa power play doesn't score. However, 5-on-5, they do get one. It's Coleman from Gord at 14:51. Gord's been all over the ice in recent games. He's been playing very, very well. And Columbus did press with 2.5 minutes left. So it's 1-1 going into the third. Really good road game played by Columbus to this point. Third period, Merzlikins making some saves. There was a net crash on one play there, and things get kind of scrummy after that. Shots were 4-4 at 8 minutes, and then at 8:14, it's Andre Palat scoring from Killorn and Chernak, and that made it 2-1. And at that point, Tampa Bay kind of takes control of that period. Merzlikins played very well there. Doesn't end up getting a star, but I thought he had a very good game. They do pull the goalie in the final 2 minutes, trying to, wrangle up that second goal to tie it. But that just results in Coleman getting a second goal of the game. It's an empty netter at 19:35, and Tampa wins 3-1. They go to 31-14-2. Columbus drops to 15-25-9. McElhinney, Palat, and Coleman are your 3 stars in this game. Shots 6-5 in favor of Columbus in the first, 9-8 Columbus in the second. Again, keeping the shot totals low, chances low. That's probably the kind of game Columbus wants to play. In the third, the shots were 15-10 Tampa. Final shots 28-25 for the Bolts. Power plays, Columbus 1 for 1. Tampa Bay 0 for 3. Hits 26-25 for Tampa. Block shots 15-4 for Columbus. Only 4 block shots for Tampa. Merzlikins 25 saves on 27 shots, and McElhinney 24 saves on 25 shots. And he shows that just because McElhinney's in net doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a rough night for Tampa. And I think that was one of the more impressive wins they've had over the last couple of weeks. It is Columbus. I understand Columbus has been on a huge downswing over the last month. But still, you got to see that as a positive for Tampa. All right, now I have to change boards. All right, in a battle that was seen as kind of like a battle for first in the division, Carolina and Florida. The Florida Panthers had lots of opportunities. They had 9 power plays tonight. 9. So nobody can say, well, the refs really hosed Florida tonight. No. Early Panthers power play. I didn't know how often that was going to be written on the board. And after it's done, Barkov gets the goal from Hornquist and Gusev at 6 minutes and 22 seconds. So Florida's up 1-0 and they celebrate. Lomberg had a fight with Paquette. So there you go. Cedric Paquette with a fight there for Carolina. Canes then get a power play. That was a no. The Panthers get another power play. The Canes get another power play. The parade continued. The Florida Panthers get another power. It becomes kind of ridiculous. And then we'll get to the Canucks game later, which was a different kind of ridiculous, but it just gets that way. I'm not saying they aren't legit penalties. It just seems to sap some of the energy out of the game. So you go to the second period with Florida up 1-0 and all the power plays in the world. Martinook, before they can call a penalty, he gets a goal at 14 seconds from Stahl. Thankfully, there weren't any penalties in that 14 seconds of the game. So Martinook ties it up. He's on a 2-game goal scoring streak. Keep an eye on him. He can get hot at times too. Shots were 8-3 for the Canes at 7.5 minutes, and it felt like they realized we might be able to steal this. Florida's power play is not succeeding. Canes would get a power play. They would score on theirs. So it's Niederreiter on the power play from Pesce and Nechas at 11:09. Then the Panthers get a power play because it's what they do all night. This is what kept happening. And that's where Carolina scores shorthanded. It's Aho from Nechas at 18 minutes and 8 seconds. Carolina's up 3-1 after the second period. I put the records up there. I said Carolina is not blowing a 3-1 lead. Not at this point in the season. Not in a game this important. Third period. Guess what happened? Panthers get a power play. You're right. Canes then get a power play around the halfway mark. Panthers then get another. And then it became a 5-on-3 for 44 seconds. Well, with a 5-on-3, Florida scores. It's Barkov from Yandel at 12:02. So all it took was getting a 5-on-3 to get that power play going. And then after that was killed off, they get another power play. And then, okay, all right, no cheating. Guess what happened with 1:42 left in the game? Panthers get a power play. Yeah, didn't see that coming, did you? So the empty netter into the Florida cage was by Aho from Nechas at 19:44, and it's a shorthanded goal. So they had 9 power plays. They had 1 power play goal and 2 shorthanded goals against, both by Sebastian Aho. So the final score is 4-2. Carolina goes to 31-10-5. Florida drops to 30-13-5. Your 3 stars, Niederreiter, Barkov, and Aho. The shots in this one, 9-6 in favor of Carolina in the first, 14-9 Carolina in the second. Florida outshoots them 19-6 in the third. They lead the final shot totals, 34-29. Your power plays, 1 for 3 for Carolina, 1 for 9 for Florida. Hits, 28-18 for Florida. Blocked shots, 24-8 for Carolina. So some pretty good shot blocking out there by Brindamore's guys. Nedeljkovic, 32 saves on 34 shots. Bobrovsky, 25 saves on 28 shots. And Niederreiter, Barkov, and Aho as the 3 stars. That makes a lot of sense. Niederreiter's goal was nice, and he's up to, what, 17 now or something like that? So, yeah, it was just... And while I was doing that review of that game, Florida had 2 more power plays. They're not even playing right now. It's remarkable. They've had more power plays tonight than I think the Islanders have had in 3 weeks. I swear. Like, it's amazing how that happens sometimes. All right, next up. A game without a lot of power plays. So it was Pittsburgh and New Jersey, and this is a perfect example of why Pittsburgh, while we may want to chuckle at what happened in the last game, Pittsburgh is a legit Stanley Cup contender. They learn. They learn from their mistakes. They don't wallow in them, or wallow. Sure, they don't wallow them in either. Crosby scores from Rust at 41 seconds. Not messing around. Beautiful goal. Crosby, said the kid. Devils then try to answer. Crosby, though, wanted another one. Arundel making some saves. Penguins get a power play. As the power play ended, the Penguins are still buzzing with this. But then it's Tennyson that scores from Murray and Boquist at 12 minutes and 34 seconds. Tennyson, his first goal since the 2015-2016 season. I believe he played for San Jose the last time he scored a goal. It's been a while. So he gets a goal. And who knew that was going to be the highlight of the night for New Jersey, right? Devils then get a power play. That was a no. Jari, really sharp on a good chance for Kuokkanen. Just Jari was dialed in. And then Ceci scores from Dumoulin and Kapanen at 17 minutes and 46 seconds. So Cody Ceci continues this redemption arc he's been on since getting to Pittsburgh. Last minute, the Devils get a power play, but it's 2-1 Pittsburgh after 1. Second period, the penalty kill is finished off by Pittsburgh. Strong play for Jari in that period. Devils get a power play. Crosby took a stick near the eye. Then the Penguins, they had a 2-on-1. Clearly the eyes of Crosby were fine because he has a secondary assist on a goal by Rust from Gensel and Crosby at 12:03, and it was a Jack Hughes turnover that led to the goal. That makes it 3-1. And then 25 seconds later, Kasperi Kapanen scores from Bluger and Aston Reese. So at 12:28, it's 4-1. Kapanen with a goal and an assist. And then the Devils get a power play. They need a goal. So what happens? Pittsburgh scores. Shorthanded goal, it's Teddy Bluger from Letang and Marino at 15:59. I have professed how much I enjoy watching Teddy Bluger many times over. He's my favorite Penguin. Yeah, I don't even know if it's close at this stage of the game. And what's impressed me with Bluger is that this year the offense has really started to match the work ethic. The work ethic was always there, but the offense has really been remarkable from him this year. Third period, the shots were 5-2 for the Devils at 6.5 minutes, but at no point in watching that third period did I have any idea that this was going to turn. Even though New Jersey did have control of the puck, even though they had a majority of the shots, Jarry just wasn't allowing anything. There was no comeback against Jarry and the Penguins tonight. Your final score is 5-1. Pittsburgh 30-14-3. New Jersey drops to 14-26-6. 3 stars, Kapanen, Bluger, and Rust. Shots in this one, 12-9 Pittsburgh in the first, 11-7 New Jersey in the second, 11-4 New Jersey in the third. Final shots, 31-23 for the Devils. The Devils had 4 power plays, didn't score on any of them. Pittsburgh only had 1 power play. Hits, 29-25 for New Jersey. Block shots, both teams had 10. Aaron Dell, 11 saves on 15 shots before he's replaced by Wedgwood, who saved 7 out of 8. Tristan Jarry saves 30 out of 31. That'll help his save percentage and the team's goals against average after what was a rough night the last time out. Now that conversation has changed. All right, next up, Toronto. So this is where not being a person who has an emotional investment in Toronto's misfortunes or fortunes, right? If they have good fortunes, great. If they have misfortunes, whatever. So remaining as neutral as possible, I looked at those games against Vancouver and I saw what they were. Vancouver was outplayed. Holtby was a very good goaltender in the first game, and Riddick wasn't a good goaltender in the second game. That's where I saw it. Scoring opportunities, I think, in those 2 games, they talked about it here. I think they were like 52-17 in favor of the Maple Leafs over those 2 games. So for Toronto, it's really a case of don't overcorrect, don't get overly frustrated, keep doing what you're doing. You will achieve success. And tonight, what helped them was an off night for Hellebuck. The first shot of the game goes in. Matthews from Marner at 27 seconds. So Austin Matthews stays red hot. And then Simmons scores from Tavares and Hall at 1 minute and 18 seconds. That's 2 shots and 2 goals. But puck goes the other way. Scheifele scores from Kopp at 3:19. That's only the second shot for the Winnipeg Jets. And then it's tied when Kopp scores from Appleton at 10:26. So cue the, oh no, Jack Campbell, it's all falling apart. It's all going to fall apart. Spezza would score from Thornton and Muzzin at 11:59. A goal that was originally given to Thornton. Spezza steals it from him because went in off his skate. So that's too bad. On some level. I mean, I don't think Thornton really cares. But yeah, that made it 3-2, and it was on a delayed penalty. So it was nice to see that they ragged the puck around, they got it in the net, and they go up. Hellebuck, that was the end of his night. He's out. Laurent Brossoit goes in. The Leafs press with 3 minutes left. There's a late power play for the Jets. But the Leafs would finish the kill at the start of the second, and they're up 3-2 at this stage. Shots were 3-2 for the Jets at 6 minutes. Matthews misfires on a chance that he has. Then there's a power play for the Leafs. That was unsuccessful. It was the only power play they had in the game. And then Marner scores from Matthews at 12 minutes and 58 seconds. So Marner kind of been fantastic for Toronto. And then Connor scores from Wheeler and Scheifele at 17:56. So just to keep things a little bit off balance and just to make people a little bit concerned, and just so that in between periods the conversation about the Toronto-Winnipeg game was going to be, is the goaltending really good enough? Are Campbell and Riddick going to be good enough? I don't know. I can't prove Campbell watched that in between the second and third period, or the conversation in between the first and second about the goaltending either. But he had a really good third period. Third period, Jets get a power play. That was a no. The shots were 9-4 for the Leafs at the halfway mark, and then the Jets just took over. They had all the shots in that second half, and Campbell had all the saves. They pull the goalie with 2 minutes left. Unsuccessful. In fact, the empty netter was hit by the Toronto Maple Leafs. 1 second here. Yeah, that was at 19:54 the third period. It's Marner from Foligno and Matthews. And then I think it was Marner that collected the puck because he knew that was Nick Foligno's first official point as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And yeah, so an empty netter makes it 5-3. I apologize I didn't write it on the board. This is where all the games are ending. So there were 7 games starting at the same time, and I was then trying to get stats underneath for review purposes and to make it so. At that stage of the day, I have three of these easels going. I am legit surrounded by boards. So I'm just trying to make it so I'm not surrounded by boards after that's all done. So I apologize I didn't get that goal on there. But I remembered, hey, it's 5-3. You didn't write the 5th goal down. So apologies. But yeah, big win for Toronto. They go to 29-13-5. The world isn't ending. The sky's not falling. The Jets dropped to 27-16-3. And there are some questions for the Jets about this game for sure. And yeah, so the Leafs, they get a little bit more room on their own here. And we'll see if they can continue that with their next meeting with the Jets. 3 stars, Marner, Kopp, and Matthews. Shots, 14-12 Winnipeg in the first, 10-9 Toronto in the second, 14-11 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots, 37-33 for the Jets. Toronto 0 for 1 on the power play, Winnipeg 0 for 2. Hits, 29-20 for Winnipeg. Block shots, 17-9 for Toronto, so they were doing the shot blocking. Campbell, 34 saves on 37 shots. I mean, I'm not going to say he didn't have shaky moments in the first 2 periods, but Campbell at the end of the night, his stats were good. Hellebuck saves 3 out of 6. Brossoit saves 25 out of 26. If I'm Paul Maurice, I don't know if I come back with Hellebuck expecting a much better game after allowing 3 goals on 6 shots, or if I say, you know what, Brossoit played well, I'll give him the shot. We'll see what they do. It could go either way. All right, next up. Well, Dallas. I will say this. They lost spectacularly tonight. That'll help that goal differential drop a little bit, won't it? And this really helps Nashville as well. This is one of those games in hand. You have to win your games in hand for them to really matter in the end. And tonight, Dallas just didn't have it. They just didn't have it, and Detroit did. So full value to Toronto or Detroit in this one. Shots were 2-1 for the Stars at 4 minutes. The Stars would outshoot Dallas through a lot of this. They got out goaltended too. Hintz had a break. Greiss made the save. Vrana then scores from Zadina at 9 minutes and 50 seconds. And Grace's record's getting a lot better, isn't it? Gurianov then had a shot that deflected out. The Wings defending Stars' chances well. Keeping him to the outside and that kind of thing. Post then for Cholowski. Vrana had a break. Hudobin made the save. Vrana would take that personally. He'd already had 1 goal and he was going to get a bunch more. Glendening then scores from Stahl and Ernie at 15:35. So Luke Glendening getting goals. Good for him. He's worked really hard. He's been the best face-off guy in the league. It's nice to see him finally getting goals. And you know what else? It's nice to see Mickey Redmond kind of happy. And yet, when Detroit does this kind of thing, you can almost hear in his voice like, man, our team isn't any good. What's wrong with them? So Panik would score at 19:49. So both guys they pick up from the Caps have goals in the first period. Second period, Stars get a power play and they do score on it to make it 3-1. Foxa from Caro and Lindell at 2:07. I tried to say Kiro, but it's Caro, so I fixed it, but I said both. And then Vrana scores from DeKaiser at 6 minutes and 50 seconds. So the Stars are leading in shots and opportunities, but every time that an opportunity would go the other way, it'd end up in the back of their net. And Vrana, some nice goals. So, yeah. Gurianov then had a shot that was denied. The Stars would get a power play. Ben would hit the post, but after that's over, Pavelski scores from Klingberg and Hintz at 12 minutes and 46 seconds. So for Dallas, it's 4-2. And there's still a part of me thinking, well, it is Detroit, so there's a chance, right? I mean, Detroit's near the bottom. They're not at the bottom anymore. They're now officially ahead of Columbus, so that's unusual. But it's hard work. And it's nice to see that their hard work is being rewarded on the wins and losses list now. Right after the penalty kill ended, of course, Pavelski gets that goal. The Stars then tried for another power play for the Wings after that. Nope. Third period, Stars get a power play. 8 minutes into the period, the shots were only 2-1 for the Stars. And I looked at that and I thought, okay, so they're down 4-2. They've managed a total of 2 shots in 8 minutes. That might be an issue. And then Vrana, breakaway goal to get the hat trick at 10:09. Yeah. So they changed from Hudobin to Ottinger. It didn't make a difference because the goaltending wasn't really the problem tonight. It was these opportunities that they were just handing to the Detroit Red Wings. Stars then get a power play. Klingberg would hit the post, but then they score. It's Gurianov from Robertson and Caro at 13:29. So Tanner Caro with 2 assists tonight. And then Vrana would score his 4th of the game from DeKaiser and Zadina at 15:48. And you know what's weird about that? The really weird thing about that, the last guy who got 4 goals in a game for Detroit was Anthony Mantha, the guy who was traded for Vrana. And then Gagne would hit the empty net at 18:47, because why not pull the goalie? Your final score is 7-3 for Detroit. They go to 16-26-7. Dallas drops to 19-15-12. So again, if you're a Preds fan, you can breathe a little bit easier tonight. The Predators do need to start taking care of their own, but yeah, this is one of those games in hand, and Dallas blew it. 3 stars. Vrana, because of course, Zadina and Greiss. Shots, 12-9 Dallas in the first, 19-7 Dallas in the second, 15-7 Dallas in the third. Final shots, 46-23 for Dallas. Power plays, Dallas goes 2 for 4, and Detroit goes 0 for 1. If I told you they outshot them by 2 times as much, and that they go 2 for 4 on the power play, and Detroit goes 0 for 1, as a Detroit fan hearing that, or a Dallas fan hearing that, you go, oh, Dallas won tonight. Nope. Hits, 22-19 for Detroit. Block shots, 20-7 for Detroit. Hudobin saves 6 out of 9. Ottinger saves 10 out of 13. Gray saves 43 out of 46. So, again, Grace has bounced back after a really slow start. Not too shabby. Good for him. Because there was a lot of criticism being thrown his way that I didn't think was necessarily fair after that slow start. He's been exposed. He wasn't any good. Just the Islanders made him look good. Nope. He's a good goaltender. Just he had a hard time with Detroit when the whole team was having a hard time. And he may have had some off nights. Lately, though, he's been very good. And it's helping Detroit's record improve. So, yeah, 16 wins. Not too bad. All right, let's change boards one last time. Columbus was on the last board. They were on the first board. Man. All right, Colorado. It's late. Colorado in against St. Louis for the Abs. Of course, coming back off of an unexpected week off. St. Louis has to deal with Colorado a bunch of times, and coming out of tonight's game, St. Louis can't be happy about that. And once again, nobody wants 4th place in the West. It was right there. It's like, hey, so Arizona doesn't want it. Do you want it? No, not really. No, not that interested. So, early power play for the Blues. They do score on it. Jaden Schwartz with the power play marker from Bozak and Dunn. That line had a good night. That was at 3:18. The Avs then get a power play. That power play had no shots. So again, it was a good start for St. Louis. Saad had a net drive that was defended by Wallman. Kyrou then had a chance that was denied. But in the last minute of that period, Saad scores from Jost at 19:28. And it's one of those goals that's just, it's really deflating because you had a really good period against Colorado, and then you come out of it tied. Second period, early power play for the Avs. A heavy press after the power play by them as well, and that eventually leads to another power play, right? And they score on that one. Burakovsky from Makar and McKinnon at 6:45. So that makes it 2-1. Kyrou tries to answer. Kyrou, lots of chances tonight. Something has to start going in for Jordan Kyrou soon, because he's begetting opportunities. Girard then defended a Blues chance. Samuel Girard's defense is underrated. Well, we're all talking about, oh, this guy should be up for Norris. This guy should be up for Norris. Samuel Girard's defense is definitely underrated. And you look at Girard, you look at Makar. Just what a really solid defense. And that's even without Bowen Byram reaching his potential yet. Once he does that, yeah, sky's the limit for the Avs. There was a second delay of game call against the Blues in that period. So the Avs go back to the power play. Lots of Girard chances. Blues definitely reeling there. And then there were too many Avs on the ice, which gave the Blues a power play. And then in the last minute, the Blues get another one. This was a game that had a bunch of power plays. But when it's too many men on the ice, it's delay of game. You have to call those. You can't just go, well, yeah, it's delay game, but they already had that penalty. So there's no room here for a referee to go, I'm not calling that again. Third period, the Avs finished off the kill. Blues would get another power play, and it was a real parade at that stage. They buzzed on their power play, did the Blues, but they don't score on it. And then in the second half of the period, Burakovsky adds to the lead from Landeskog and McKinnon at 11:29. Now, shortly after that, Scandella would leave the ice. He exits the game in pain. Looked like it was something with his hand or his wrist. So, we'll see. But Schwartz would score from Bozak and Tarasenko at 13:43. And again, that line was going. And for some reason on the power play, which was struggling after that first goal, it was noticed by Darren Pang that they weren't playing on the power play very much. He thought that was odd. I thought that was odd too. Goalie pull with 1:45 left. What that allows is Belmar to get an empty net goal from Landeskog and McKinnon at 18:29. So Colorado wins this one 4-2. They go to 31-9-4. St. Louis drops to 19-19-6. Again, nobody wants fourth place in that division, I guess. Burakovsky, Schwartz, and McKinnon are your 3 stars. The shots in this one, 9-7 Colorado in the first, 11-9 Colorado in the second, 11-9 St. Louis in the third. Final shots, 29-27 for Colorado. Again, St. Louis stays close. They played well. They don't get the result. So it's the same as the last time they played Colorado. They play well. They don't get the result. Both power plays go 1 for 5. Hits, 16-12 for St. Louis. Block shots, 27-11 for Colorado. Dubnyk saved 25 out of 27. He's not mentioned on the board, but Dubnyk had a very good game. He's not one of the 3 stars either, but he did. He had a good game. Binnington, 25 saves on 28 shots at the other end of the ice. And there you go. Colorado, I believe with this win, they've clinched a playoff spot now as well. I believe it's Colorado and Vegas have clinched playoff spots, to the surprise of no one. No one is surprised. All right. Speaking of not being surprised, so there will be some who say tonight was the night that the Canucks, they look tired. Nah. See, so I've had games this year with Vancouver where just I think, wow, so they're getting shut out, huh? And I had that feeling pretty early in this game. Like I'm thinking the second period, I realized, so Matt Murray's not going to allow one. Early on in his career, Matt Murray's first 2 shutouts in the regular season were against the Canucks. He knows how to stop the Canucks. Apparently, he hasn't forgotten it. Just the last time out, it didn't work for him. Tonight it did. And this is his second shutout in a week. So he had a shutout in Montreal, now in Vancouver. Ottawa playing the spoiler role well. This was a very well coached, very well prepared team. It was Demko versus Murray, the heritage jersey being worn by the Canucks. I don't remember if they had a great record with it last year. I think it was all right. Post for Batherson early, and then Tkachuk had a fight with Hamonic. Hamonic gets the instigator and the misconduct, but Tkachuk had thrown a late hit on Highmore. I'm not sure why, but Senators seemed to keep teeing off on Highmore. I don't know what he did. But the problem with that was, A, Tkachuk was getting a penalty, so the Canucks would have a power play, and B, Hamonic's then out of the game. So you're behind the 8 ball right there. So the Canucks get a power play. That ends up being a no. Senators get their turn on the power play, and it's a yes. Their power play worked tonight. Stützle from Paul and Batherson at 9:17, and I think that's the first goal for Stützle in a while. Formenton then tried to make it 2-0. Senators would get another power play. That was killed off, and then they get a third power play. This is still in the first period. They score on it. Batherson from Norris and Tkachuk at 15:57. And I felt the score was accurate. The Canucks were flat. They didn't come out with that same fire they showed against Toronto. And while I'm not going to get mad at Demko, it's his first start since March, the goaltending was better at the Ottawa end. Matt Murray was dialed in. Not that the Canucks tested him that much in the first period. So when you're not testing that goaltender much in the first period, you're letting him get settled in. You're letting him get his confidence. And with Matt Murray, that's really important. I've done videos on Matt Murray on this channel before. When he was in Pittsburgh, I think I did 2 videos, one each year, like one a year apart from the other, where I talked about how Matt Murray can be a good goaltender, and I still thought he could bounce back, and he did each time I did that video. Senators were a post away from 3-0 in the final minute. So for the Canucks, they come out of that first period down 2-0. The score is accurate. They did come out better in the second, but it still felt like they just weren't going to get anything. They get a power play that led to a shorthanded chance for Paul on a turnover by Boyd. Scrambling game. The Sens look pretty good. Virtanen then with a tip. Murray makes a glove save, took it around the world on that one. Things get kind of scrummy as Highmore gets hit again. So again, Canucks get a power play. Murray gets the save on that. And he had a few saves during that power play. I think there were 3 shots for the Canucks on that one. Murray then robbed Höglander, absolutely in the zone, playing very, very well. We go to the third. Frustration was showing early for the Canucks. Now, I'm not talking about frustration where like high sticking and cross-checking. I mean when you've got, I think it was JT Miller who goes in trying to get through everybody. When I see players trying to just go through all 5 guys, I'm like, this is done, isn't it? And it's just, it happens in hockey where players will get frustrated and decide, I'll just create this myself. I'm going to put the team on my shoulders and do it. Just wasn't happening tonight. Early power play for the Canucks. That led to a shorthanded 2-on-1. Connor Brown was clearly tripped on the play and the Canucks didn't get a penalty. I am watching Sportsnet Pacific. I am watching John Shorthouse and John Garrett, and they all night were talking about what wasn't being called and what was. And they were being fair about it. They were talking about how, oh, the Canucks got away with one there. Why didn't they call that? And then they'd show the penalties that were being called, and they were like, well, wait, that's not as bad as the one they didn't call back in the other zone. That was worse than this. So we talked about how there were a ton of penalties in some games and not very many others. This one, I honestly felt bad for the players because the line should be clear. Whether you've got a referee that's letting everything go or a referee that's calling everything, it should be clear. And in this game, I don't know. I thought there should have been a penalty there too. As soon as I saw Connor Brown get tripped, I went, well, all right, it's 4-on-4, no call. And then the Canucks even had a chance that came out of that. So that's usually one of the defining factors too. Does the team get a chance? Are they going to get a chance because of that trip? If the answer is yes, that's a penalty. That's usually where that boundary is. So yeah, they were picking and choosing what they called tonight. And it had felt like a shutout since the 2-0 goal was scored, to me anyways. Senators get a power play with 11:21 left. Horvat was in the box, and when he came out, he got a nice chance. It went off Murray's mask. Good blocking, good defense by the Senators in that third period. Hawryluk couldn't buy one. He tried. Again, Hawryluk, good game for him. Not happening. Goalie pull with 3 minutes left. What does that do? Empty net goal. Connor Brown from Zaitsev at 18:30. That is 11 goals in 12 games for Connor Brown. He's been playing very, very well. Senators win 3-0. They go to 17-26-4 for Vancouver, 18-19-3. And again, they now have 16 games left, and they really, really need to focus on these 3 games against Ottawa and get the results tonight. No points, and that hurts. 3 stars, Murray, Myers, and Batherson. Myers, for all of the talk about players and contracts and who's paid and gets what, in Vancouver, Tyler Myers has earned every cent of his money this year. He has been excellent. And I say that as somebody who was plenty critical during the return at certain points. He's been excellent. Shots in this one, 11-7 Ottawa in the first, 12-7 Vancouver in the second, 11-7 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 30-25 for the Canucks. Power plays, 2-for-4 for Ottawa, 0-for-4 for Vancouver. Special teams made the difference. Hits, 27-24 for Ottawa. Block shots, 19-13 for Ottawa. So they out-hit him. They had the 19 blocks. They win the game. Murray's 13th career shutout with 30 saves. Demko saves 22 out of 24. I thought Demko had a good game. He did. He had a good game, but he was outplayed by Murray, and the Canucks just couldn't get a goal. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. We have one more busy Thursday next week, and then that's it. That's it for the busy Thursdays. We have a couple busy Saturdays, and then we're getting into the playoffs. It is close. So let me know your thoughts regarding these games tonight. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.